Right, posted about this site, or used this site to post about managing woodlands about a year ago, and that was in early spring, very early spring. Flowers hadn't really come in, and this is now August, about a year and a bit ahead. And when we first came, Woodland Trust were due to do a lot of work taking out conifers, and they appear to have done that, because when we walked up this same ride, we saw a lot of conifers in here, and now there appear to be none. There's been a lot of hardcore brought into this track, which is not necessarily a bad thing at all. And here we have an ash stump. So they've taken out ash due to ash dieback. And there's a lump of conifer, and there's a conifer stump. Looks like it might have been a larch. Another one there. So yeah, they've done their work. Fairly light touch. So let's go through and see what else we can find. So we've had a whole forwarder in. Right, nearly fell over there. Now, just thinking where we walked in last time. I think it was just up through here, through this narrow bit, and then we hung a left. Oh look, they put a grip in, look. So this is basically to try and shed some of the water that will run down this slope. And you can see it's been wet in here. And this is the stop to prevent the water running down beside the track. So this is all fairly nice light touch stuff. You can see where the forward has been down the track. And there's some brash in there. See where they've been up round the corner. So it looks like their contractors have been in, made a bit of a mess of the main track to extract materials. Quite a lot of dieback affected ash still here, and the contractors have made good. See, there's another bit of larch there. Look, looks like they've dropped the ash and left all the brash in situ, which is not necessarily a terrible thing. That's all ash, just cut and dropped. That's been knocked over. This is about where we walked in last time. So let's see if we can wander in here, see what we can find. This is a voyage of discovery for me, as well as for you, if I actually post this. We've had an ash that's been cut, and this is all deer damage, yeah? See, it's been cut off like secateurs, so the deer have hit the regrowth. Now, there's some indications in the UK ash dieback is not affecting ash that's cut before it dies as badly as ash that is left. But very early days. I think this is about where we walked in before. Cut. So they cut it This is a spruce, Norway spruce. Cut it, looks like with a harvester on a big machine. You can see where the tracks have been. And this is really, really sad. I hate seeing this. They basically pushed over coppice stalls. What they should have done is had ordinary sawmen working by hand come in here and cut them out and then avoided them rather than pushing them over like this. This might do a phoenix tree, but then again it might not, because this tree is old. The individual stems aren't old, but the tree itself, the stool, is old. And it looks like it's completely dead. So they might not even have pushed it over, they might have pulled it up and moved it. These two have been pushed over, they're still alive. It's often the case where foresters look at woodlands is they discount the nature conservation value and the heritage value of the hazel, thinking that the hazels are young. Well, they're not. A tree like this has been cut at least twice, possibly even more, and that looks like that's about 30 years old. So call it 60, call it maybe 120 years old. Certainly the case that on a woodland like this, the hazels are older than any of the other trees you see here. This, as I theorised last time, is planted or conifer plantationised mixed woodland, which was probably hazel coppice with ash under oak standards, and the oak standards have been cut out at some point in the past. And you can see the marks being cut by a harvester. This is ash, it's just been left, and this material here has all been left. Some of it is no good, but even this stuff would be okay for biomass, which is where I suspect a lot of this material would have gone. So they come in here, they filled it out, they made a mess, and this is all compaction damage. So they're damaging the floor of the woodland. This will take years and years to repair itself. So although I was saying when I walked in initially, this is an oak, look, young oak, they've avoided that. So when I walked in initially I thought it was fairly light touch. Nah, this is heavy-handed. I don't like this at all. And more ash material, just cut and dropped. It's currently the fashion to cut material like this and drop it as dead wood. But as you can see, this is completely unnecessary. In my view, this should have been taken out and used to defray cost of works, or used to defray tidy up works done by hand or by volunteers. Here's another hazel pushed over, another hazel pushed over there, and there might be another one under that. So this is basically damaging the woodland to no real good cause. Null point Woodland Trust, and as you can see, leaving this as deadwood, if that's what they've actually done, is there's no point, because you have got lots of more valuable deadwood here, which is a standing deadwood. And you can see all these ashes are moribund. They're going to fall over. So the question has to be asked here, why was this done? Why was it done in this way? Is this, inverted commas, asset stripping? Now the hazel's still pushed over. And you can see here, as I said last time I was in here, this would restore as coppice. and this would give you excellent nature conservation value. And if you had a little bit of thought for the future and asked around and involved local people who are into coppice, and there are some in Somerset, this could have had a long-term value for nature conservation. And you could have used any money from timber such as this, which is perfectly good for firewood. You could have ploughed that back into the site and used it to say, while you were in here, instead of cutting things like this, had hand workers in with chainsaws and coppiced this. Then coppiced an area in here. Say if you just did one area of coppice, 1 acre, somewhere along that main track, and then sat back and watched what happened, that I think would have paid you in the long term. And you could have taken some of the larch, which has probably been taken out, and used that to do permanent deer fence. That would have protected the hazel regrowth and would have given you valuable data. But so far I can see no thought has been done to doing stuff like that. It's come in just like foresters normally come in, chop, drop and fuck off. So no, I don't like this. Right, I'm going to have a bit more of a wander past all these poor hazel stalls and see what we can find where we walked last time. See if they've done something similar over there, or they've left it or done something different. Right, going to turn you off now.